What's going on, Viking fans? Welcome to TopShelf Fandom. Today we'll be discussing Vikings Season 6A. We are officially at the midpoint, halfway through, people. Only 15 episodes to go in the series altogether, and we've got a major character to talk about today. Everybody's favorite shield maiden, Lagertha. We'll be discussing where Lagertha's story is going to end, if it's going to end, and how she got here.
Your mother was a famous shield maiden.
Was?
Is a famous shield maiden.
I was afraid.
There's no need to be afraid. The gods look after us.
First and foremost, in all of the modern day epics that we've had lately, I think Catherine's performance has made her stand above and beyond all others. This Shield Maiden's tale is nothing short of magnificent, and I'd have to say, if it wasn't for her presence in the series post-Ragnar, I don't think we'd retain the amount of viewership that we have. Regardless of how you feel about the overall story, and we'll briefly touch on some of the abrupt story threads, especially Season 2. But first, let's talk about what they've achieved with this character. The major standout for me is definitely the empowerment. We live in an age where there is no shortage of series that are trying to be mediums for empowerment. But looking at prevalent examples out there and other comparable characters and archetypes, I have to say Vikings does do this better. When it comes down to it, I think she's miles above the competition. The first thing we can check off is our character is not empowered through physicality alone. Ineffective base level empowerment usually derives from the school of thought that you have to showcase you can do something as well as somebody else, not that you can have your own strengths. We don't empower females by showcasing they can do what a man does. We see this in so many series where they claim to be empowering women by stripping them of their sexuality or femininity. This isn't a woman who manages to pull off being a warrior when being a mom. She's a warrior because she is a mother. She's a warrior because she is a wife. She's a warrior when she's a farmer or she's a queen.
You insult and humiliate me. I have no choice but to leave you and divorce you.
At the beginning of 6A, we see a docile, content Lagertha. We see all the characteristics of somebody that's willing to give up their power, that's willing to sacrifice namesake and title for a little solitude, you could say. And recently, after reading an interview with creator and writer Michael Hirst, who states that 100 Years of Solitude is the last great novel, meaning that there has never been anything like it, and there has never been anything as good since.
And tangled narrative. 100 Years of Solitude is not an easy book to read, but it's a deeply rewarding one, with an epic assortment of intense romances, civil war, political intrigue, globe-trotting adventurers, and more characters named Aureliano than you'd think possible. Yet this is no mere historical drama. 100 Years of Solitude is one of the most famous examples of a literary genre known as magical realism. Here, supernatural events or abilities are described in a realistic and matter-of-fact tone.
Will I be killed by a son of Ragnar?
Yes.
While the real events of human life and history reveal themselves to be full of fantastical absurdity.
I saw Ragnar.
Yes, I also saw him, but so briefly. On his way to Valhalla.
But is gradually exposed to the outside world, facing multiple calamities along the way. As years pass, characters grow old and die, only to return as ghosts, or to be seemingly reincarnated in the next generation. Although the novel moves forward through subsequent generations, time moves in an almost cyclical manner. Many characters have similar names and features to their forebears, whose mistakes they often repeat. Strange prophecies and visits from mysterious gypsies give way to the skirmishes and firing squads of repeated civil wars.
If you have not read 100 Years of Solitude, I will be doing a video probably after the season diving into probably why Hearst prefers to create stories like Vikings that deal with historical myth, that deal with multi-generations of people, that deal with reoccurring events, reoccurring personality and character traits, the mix of myth and history together to convey real events. It is truth devoid of fact. A lot of cool comparisons there, but we have to remember that we are covering multiple generations of people in Vikings, just as 100 Years of Solitude does. We have overt magic that is out in the open through the seer, not questioned by anybody, and is treated like it is just the milkman. That mix of realism and myth and playing with how we perceive stories and how we create and craft these pass. Our obsession with nostalgia are always trying to get back to something instead of moving forward, trying to find the time in which we were great, not moving to a time of greatness. In 100 Years of Solitude, you have characters who are immersed and obsessed with nostalgia. Another testament to this story is that we still value both Ragnar and Lagertha. We never stopped our obsession with their relationship. We never hated one or the other. Think of how many other series are comparable when it comes to a relationship of two main protagonists where they split and you don't end up hating the one, where you can pull off a empathetic perspective for both characters. We have our split in the first season, people, and still to season 6, we're hoping to get a glimpse of Ragnar in a vision. This is a testament to, first off, yes, our obsession with nostalgia, but second off, how well they've handled the story.